Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Ruby. So for today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys the sewing process of this particular dress you're seeing on your screen. So initially I posted the drafting tutorial, and if you have not seen that, I'm going to encourage you to go see it so that you will understand this particular sewing tutorial. So if you have not seen it, I'm going to leave the link to the tutorial on the description box below, or you can just go through my channel and it's very easy to find. So let's get right to this video. So I already gone ahead to use the pattern we drafted in our previous video to cut out the exact shape on our fabric we're going to be using, which is this blue crepe fabric. So this is it for the front pattern, and the next I'm showing you guys is the back pattern. So for this front and the back pattern of the upper bodies, I cut them into two. As I'm going to be using this particular fabric as my lining also. So when you're cutting, you're going to be cutting each side too, and this side now too. So that's how you're going to be doing it. So I went ahead to interface. I added hairstay to the main fabric. So this hairstay I just gummed, or I just added to the fabric. I ironed it to the main fabric, not the lining piece. So I've gone ahead to just join my front pattern together, and I'm going to be using brack up for this project. And as you can see, I made a dart on the brack up. You just make a dart of 1 inches and just sew on your brack up. Then I attach the brack up to the lining piece. Don't attach it to the main but I said we're going to be using the same fabric as the lining, and so I attach the brack up to the lining piece, not to the main fabric. So I've gone ahead already to just attach the front and the back together. I didn't turn the neckline because this neckline I'm still going to be adding a turtleneck to it, so there's no need of you turning it with your lining. So this is the back pattern of our dress. This back pattern is not going to be having any sleeve, any shoulder, so just turn it right out. The only place you're going to be leaving open is the down part of this upper bodies. Now this down part is the part you're going to be joining with your down bodies. So I hope you understand. So I've gone ahead to just insert my dart. This is my dart. Please, if you watch the previous video, you're going to see all the dart explanation and the rest. So I advise you just go and watch it, because all these darts I explained it how to do it so that you get a tight upper bodice. So the next thing I'm just doing is just to join my front pattern and my back pattern of my upper bodice together, and I'm just pinning with my pins. So make sure you stretch it a little bit and pin it. I like working with pins because it helps me to see any mistake before I sew. So I advise, if you're a beginner, you work with pins before you go ahead to sew on your sewing machine. So this is it, and then I noticed the back part is a little bit longer than the front part, and that is why I am trimming. I'm just going to trim the little excess I have at the down of my back bodice, so that it's going to be the same with my front bodice. So this is it. Please, if you are watching up to here and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please, I beg you to do so. So here I've joined it already. I'm just trying to fit it on my body, although me and her is not of the same size, but I'm just fitting to see how it looks. Now we're going to the down part of this dress, and this is the skirt. This is the back pattern of my skirt. I've gone ahead to just take my dart intake. Like I said, the explanation of this dart intake is in the previous video. So I've gone ahead to take my dart intake for the back pattern, and then I just pinned the front pattern of the skirt and the back pattern of the skirt together. Then I'm just going to take in her measurement and I'll sew. So this is it. I've gone ahead to sew with her measurement, and I'm just going to open the zip side of the skirt pattern, or the down pattern. I'm not going to say skirt, so the down pattern of this dress. So now the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to be using my chalk to draw out my pattern. If you see the previous video, the beginning of this video, I showed you the dress. So, and it has ruffles at the down part of this. It has ruffles at the down part of the skirt. So, and the ruffles are not in a straight form, or I'm going to say it's not in a straight manner. So is let me say it's like in a wavy form. So I'm going to just show you how I did that. But you can do anything you want to do on this down part. Just do anything you want to do. It's still going to come out very fine. Just make sure your ruffles are a little bit full so that it's not going to be scanty. And on my previous video I said I used 4 yards of fabric for this project. So just know the amount of fabric you're going to be using so that you get a fuller effect of your ruffles. So like I said, I'm just going to be measuring some measurements. You can use any measurement you want to do. You're just going to see the pattern when I'm done. So you just use it, any measurement you want to use, and just draw out your pattern. But just make sure this place you're seeing me draw now, make sure it's equal at the both end. Make sure it's equal at the both ends so that when you join, when you want to close your zip allowance, or when you want to close the zip side, the ruffles at both ends is going to align. I hope you understand. So now just look at the way I'm drawing my lines. Like I said, it is not in a straight form. So this is how it's going to be. So like I said, make sure these two ends are the same. That is why I'm measuring this end again, so that by the time I join them together, it's going to align at the back. So for the ruffles now, you will cut out a very long piece of material. Now let me say you got 4 yards of fabric. Please cut a long piece of that 4 yards. Now I'm using 12 inches for the width of my ruffles. 12 inches. Now the length is that 4 yards of fabric. I hope you understand. Please don't cut it one yard or something. It's going to, the joinings may show. So just use, if you're using 5 yards, make sure the length is 5 yards. Then for the width, I'm using 12 inches. You can use more than that if you have enough fabric. So the next thing you're going to do is you fold the you fold that piece of fabric together, and you just make a loose stitch, then you just draw it to get your gathers like this. I hope you understand what I just said, please. So right now, this is my gathers. I'm done gathering my ruffles, so I'm just going to be placing it on the line we initially drew on the down part of our skirt pattern. So you're just going to sew. Please make sure you weave it before you join. Don't do like me. I later removed it to weave it. So when you do the 3 layers, it's going to look like this. It's going to look something like this. You can make yours a little bit longer if this is short for you. So now the next thing we're going to do is to mark the turtleneck. So for the turtleneck, it's just going to be a very simple one. I'm not going to do anything so strange. So I'm just going to cut out any length I want, any length you want. If you want the rope at the back to be too long, you can cut your maybe a long rope. If you want it to be normal, you do that. So I'm going to be using this one for my own turtleneck, and I think it was around 40 inches or 35 inches. I can't really tell because I didn't really measure it, but it's not too long. And the width for this is, I used 6 inches, so that when I sew, it's going to be around 5 inches. So that's what I did here. So I folded it into two, and then I measured my neckline of my dress. Please measure the neckline of your dress from the beginning to the end of the neckline. Then you divide it by 2. So that's why I'm folding this into 2, and I just placed the measurement. So that when you open it like this, you're going to have the full measurement of your neckline you measured. I hope you understand. So I notch the center of this, and then I just pin it. As you can see, I said I use 6 inches. So now at that center that I notch, I'm going to reduce it by half inches. I'm going to reduce it by half inches up to the place my neckline is going to stop. Remember, I told you to fold it into 2 and mark your neckline when you divide your neckline into 2. Let's say your neckline is 6 inches, you divide it into 2, making 3 inches. So now you're going to now mark it so that when you open, you get the 6 inches. So I'm going to be measuring this half inches you see me measuring now. This 2.5 inches seam measuring, making sure the down part is half inches from the neckline. You see from the neckline, from the center, you see a two dots line I gave by the side. So that is the beginning and the end of my neckline. So that is where I'm going to be covering these half inches. I am just going up by, so that it's going to be slanty, so that when I fix it to my neckline, it's going to sit properly. So that is why I'm just doing this. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So now I'm just going to cut, and I'm going to sew this. Now the sewing is going to start from the end, one side of my neckline. I will double stitch it. I'm going to start from here and there, double stitch it so that it's not going to lose, and I will sew to the end. And I'm going to do the same for the other end. I'm going to be leaving the center of the neckline open, only the center, like just like this. Then I'll pin the center, which I notch to the center of my neckline, and then I'll pin the rest to the rest of the neckline, just like this. Then the next thing you're going to do is just to sew. So after sewing, you're just going to cover it up like this. Remember, you sew with half inches, and when you're covering it up like this, you're going to still be using half inches. Do you understand? Now you have exhausted 1 inches, making this to be 5 inches. I hope you understand. That's why we used 6 inches before initially. So you're just going to tuck it in like this and make sure it's neat. Please use your pin. If you are a beginner, use your pin so that everything will be neat when you're sewing. So this is basically it for this tutorial. This is basically it. You just sew it down and you're good to go. I hope you actually understand what I said. But if you need any more clarifications, you can just leave a comment in the description, but no, in the comment section, sorry, and I'm going to answer you. Thank you for watching. See you on my next one. Bye.